that image right there, seared in all of our minds and hearts, of a young boy and his 2-year-old sister saluting their hero, their father. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime. I'm Akshita and Nandagopal. This evening, we're paying tribute to all the fallen heroes of the Anantnag encounter, getting you each of their stories and the emotional last journey. Here's a look at the headlines first. The nation bids farewell to our brave hearts. Colonel Manpreet and Major Ashish cremated with full state honours. Hunt continues to neutralize covering terrorists in Anantnag as counter-terror operation enters third day. Lashkar terrorists hideout destroyed in massive explosion. Sanatan row escalates as Supreme Court plea demands FIR against Udaynidhi Stalin. On India Today platform, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan slams the India alliance, asserts that no one can eradicate Sanatana Dharma.
मैडम सोनिया गांधी से मैं सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं, राहुल जी से मैं सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं, ये तुम्हारा इंडी गठबंधन सनातन पे हमले कर रहा है, सनातन को खत्म करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, आपका इस पे क्या कहना है? क्या आप सनातन के विरोधी हो?
Top court grants relief to KCR's daughter K. Kavita in the Delhi liquor gate probe. No ED summons for Kavita till the next hearing. That's on September 26th. India-Canada ties remain frosty. Sources say free trade agreement negotiations between the two nations now paused. Talks to only resume once issues settled between both governments. And Bollywood betting app Nexus exposed. India Today accesses exclusive video of Bollywood stars performing at Betting King's UAE betting bash. 200 crore diverted via Hawala for bash. It's a day of mourning for all of us as a country today, as we remember the supreme sacrifice of 3 of our brave hearts who we lost in the Anantnag encounter. Heartbreaking images as their mortal remains reached their family members today and they were cremated with full state honours. Let's get you some of those images. Donned in army uniform, Kabir Singh, son of Colonel Manpreet Singh, bid adieu to his father standing next to his coffin. Colonel Manpreet was one of the officers killed in a gunfight with terrorists in Anantnag. A befitting farewell for a hero. You had thousands of people gathering in Mohali to pay their respects to Colonel Manpreet, who died in action while protecting India. Emotional scenes were witnessed at the last rites of Colonel Manpreet. His sister had kept a Rakhi, as you can see there, one last time to offer to her brother atop his coffin. We lost 2 army officers. Major Ashish Dhonchak's mortal remains was brought to his native village in Haryana's Panipat for his cremation. Ashish's wife was inconsolable. His mother, who vowed not to cry, was seen saluting her brave son. A truly emotional moment. After the gun salute, Major Ashish Dhonchak's mortal remains were consigned to flames with full military honours. These are images that we're showing you right now from the encounter site. Being mindful of the operation that's currently underway, we're ensuring that we're only getting you deferred images of what's happening right now in Kokarnag in Anantnag so that we do not compromise the army's operation in any way. 3 days on, you can still hear that there's heavy firing in the air. A lot more forces have been pressed into action as well. Let's get you those latest images. intense round of firing, as you can hear there. These are, in fact, images that we're getting to you from Kokarnag in Anantnag, deferred by an unspecified time to ensure that we don't compromise on the operation that's currently underway. Our reporters are there, and they are, of course, being extremely responsible when they're getting us information coming in from the ground. You can see from the terrain how hard it is for our forces to really find where these terrorists are hiding, and that's why 3 days on, the encounter continues. Ashraf Vaani is getting us the latest updates. Ashraf, any information, any communication that's come in from the army on the operation that's underway? Apologies. We'll just reconnect with Ashraf in just a bit to find out if there's been any more communication from the Indian Army on the encounter that's underway. But you can hear the firing that's taking place. It's been like this since this morning, as our forces have been working round the clock to eliminate the terrorists who targeted our brave officers. Remember, we've lost 4, in fact, of our brave soldiers in this gunfight so far. We don't have details yet on the 4th Jawan, and we're going to withhold that information till the army puts out an official communique, because we will want to ensure that due protocol is followed, that the family is first intimated before we put out those details. The gunfire is still underway. A lot more arms ammunition has been pushed into action there. You've got a lot more heavy deployment also. This is a special operation that's been going on for the last many days. In fact, the last update that we did get is that a terror hideout has in fact been busted. It's been identified, but there's still some lack of clarity on exactly how many terrorists are really holed up there. Ashraf Vaani is with us now. Ashraf, what's the latest you're picking up from the Indian Army?
Hello.
Ashraf, can you hear me? Okay, we'll go back to Ashraf in just a bit. Let me bring in Shivarur on this broadcast in the meanwhile. Shiv, 3 days on, this encounter is still happening. What are really the challenges that our forces are facing that's led to this operation going on even after 3 days now?
Akshita, first of all, I want to reassure our viewers that none of these pictures that we're showing them is live. On India Today, we've taken a conscious call not to show anything of any significance, no movement of men, weapons or material. So viewers can completely rest assured about that. But even in these images that we're showing our viewers right now, Akshita, what they can see very clearly is that this is a monumentally difficult kind of terrain. It's a mountain, there are gorges, there are ravines, there are thick forests as well. The area of operations has increased because it's gone from day one, which was just one part of a small village in Anantnag district in Kokarnag, to now being a larger area where the hunt has expanded, which basically means that the 19 RRs and the Jammu and Kashmir police, both of whom have lost personnel in this firefight, are now looking at a vastly larger area, for this hunt to happen. The reality check here that must be said is that the hunt is just for 3 terrorists. That we don't know if there are more, but 2 Pakistani nationals, 1 local terrorist are part of the hunt that the army is mounting right now. But it's still proving to be extremely difficult because this is an area that has absolutely countless hiding places, a lot of different escape routes, even though we do know that the 19RR has taken the help with some neighboring units to conduct a larger cordon operation. So this is a kind of cordon and search operation where it's a large loose ring which closes in around the mountain to try and corner these terrorists, but we don't know if they're actually there. And remember, after losing a commanding officer, a company commander and a deputy superintendent of police, this becomes a very, very sensitive operation. Not only is the pressure now on these units to complete the operation, but importantly, Akshita, to complete it cleanly, because a lot has already been lost.
Very true. And let's just hope there are no more casualties, because the operation is still underway. We're being told that these terrorists also are armed to the teeth. Thanks very much, Shiv, for getting us those details. Let me also take this across to Ashraf Vaani, who's been tracking all the latest communication and information that's coming in from the army. Ashraf, good evening. Can you tell us what's the latest that you're picking up really from your sources?
Akshita, today is the 3rd day of this encounter, and it was intensified today by the armed forces. Particularly now the command is with the special forces of Indian Army. They are combing each and every corner of that particular spot where this encounter took place and where it is believed that probably hideout is in those forested areas of the Kokarnag in Anantnag district. Today, not only the drones were used, but in fact, explosive was used and rocket launchers were used by the army to target that specific location where it is believed that probably that is the main hideout of terrorists where they are hiding for last so many days. Also, there is a message which has been put on the social media by the TRF who have claimed the responsibility for this terror attack. They have claimed in their statement that on the social media, it was circulated that all those terrorists who were involved in this attack had been reached to their locations. Now, the police and the army is looking it on other perspective. Probably it may be a kind of attempt by the terrorists to divert the attention of this operation. But so far, the police as well as the army is saying that these terrorists had been encircled. There has been no escape route left for them, and they are trapped inside that densely forested area.
Important update also, Ashraf, that you're telling us that our forces are confirming that they believe the terrorists are very much trapped in the area. There's no question of them having fled or having to escape from that particular area in Kokarnag. They're saying that we've got them encircled, we've got them surrounded, they cannot escape. But let's play out for you this video that we're putting out on India Today from the encounter site, deferred by an unspecified time. This encounter has been on since Tuesday, and unfortunately we lost three of our officers, 2 army officers and a police official 2 days back in the gunfight. One of them was 41-year-old Colonel Manpreet Singh. His mortal remains were taken to his hometown of Mohali in Punjab. A sea of humanity fittingly came together to bid farewell, to thank him for serving the nation.
The final salute of a son and a daughter to their fallen hero father. A somber farewell to 41-year-old Colonel Manpreet Singh, Sena Medal. Colonel Manpreet Singh made the supreme sacrifice during a counter-terror operation in Anantnag on Wednesday. He was commanding the 19th Battalion of Rashtriya Rifles. A second-generation soldier hailing from a village near Mullanpur, Mohali, Colonel Manpreet Singh had dedicated 17 years of his life to military service before falling in the line of duty. A sea of humanity gathered to accompany him on his final journey. The soldiers of Sikh Light Infantry, Colonel Manpreet Singh's parental unit, donning their distinctive regimental colours, led the way to the cremation ground. Paying their respects were 2 former chiefs of the army staff, General Ved Malik and General Bikram Singh, both of the Sikh Light Infantry. Colonel Manpreet Singh's young son Kabir stood tall in his camouflage fatigues, carrying forward the legacy of his brave father. The Sikh Light Infantry soldiers gave their fallen brother-in-arms a 21-gun salute. In the flickering flames of the funeral pyre, Colonel Manpreet Singh's journey finds its end. But his spirit and his supreme sacrifice forever etched in the annals of heroism.
With tears in their eyes, hundreds of people from various walks of life bid adieu to the great soldier who laid his life to protect the honor of the nation. Prominent among the dignitaries who gathered here to pay the last respects to the soldier were Punjab Governor Banwari Lal Purohit, some army veterans besides the officials from the local administration. But the question is, how long Indian sons will have to sacrifice their life as Pakistan continues to aid and abet terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. With camera person Aman Gupta, this is Manjeet Sehgal in Mohali for India Today.
It was a day where all of our hearts were broken because it wasn't just Colonel Manpreet that we had to bid farewell to, but also Major Ashish, who was cremated with full military honours in his hometown of Panipat in Haryana. But what was truly, truly heartwarming to see is the number of villagers who all came together to stand with the family at this difficult time. Remember, Major Ashish's mother had said she will not shed a single tear because her son laid down his life for the nation.
Major Ashish Dhonchak put in his blood and sweat to build a house for his family. The housewarming was to take place on the 23rd of October, his birthday. On Friday, Major Ashish's body was brought to his house, a house he will never live in. His wife, inconsolable.
It is the moment to console the family which is bearing the biggest loss ever. A family only knows what they have lost, but for now, everyone, the family, the relatives, the locals and other civilians feel proud and sacrifice of their son, but at the same time, these people, the community is standing firm with the family.
The Braveheart's mother insisted she will not shed a tear because her son died a hero in the service of the nation.
मेरा बेटा सारे देश का बेटा था, सारे देश का चैता था मेरा बेटा. मैं ना रोऊं, मैंने अपना बेटा पाल कर देश ताईं दे दिया था मन तो.
Her son's body in front of her, she saluted Bharat Mata. Not a drop of tear, only pride in her heart and immense pain. A sea of humanity had gathered at Panipat's Binjol village to pay their last respects to the fallen hero. They waved the tricolour as they lined up along the road, climbed on top of buildings to get a final glimpse of the son of the soil. Chants of Major Ashish Amar Rahe reverberated throughout the journey. Major Ashish Dhonchak was cremated with full military honours and a 21-gun salute. Major Ashish Dhonchak from the 19th Battalion Rashtra Rifles displayed an unwavering commitment to serve the nation. He had been awarded a Sena Medal for gallantry on Independence Day in a counter-terror operation in Jammu and Kashmir. With Ashutosh Mishra in Panipat, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, it was just 2 days ago that we got those images of a Jammu and Kashmir police veteran saluting his son, the Deputy Superintendent of Jammu and Kashmir Police, who was also unfortunately killed in action in the Anantnag encounter. Heartbreaking images that came in. But we also thought in our next report, we'll tell you a bit about Humayun Bhatt and his family's ultimate sacrifice for the nation.
Former Jammu and Kashmir DIG Ghulam Hassan Bhatt was composed and dignified in grief as he paid tribute to his son. Deputy Superintendent Humayun Bhatt. The images heartbreaking. Of the 4 Bravehearts who were killed in Jammu and Kashmir's Kokernag encounter with militants, 29-year-old Humayun Muzammil Bhatt was the youngest. A sea of mourners turned up to pay their respects to Bhatt, whose mortal remains, draped in a tricolour, arrived at his village in Budgaon on Thursday. Humayun, who briefly worked with the Social Welfare Department, joined the police 6 years ago after clearing the exam in 2018. His friends remember him for his unassuming and down-to-earth personality. Top police officers of Jammu and Kashmir, including DGP Dilbag Singh, ADGP Vijay Kumar, paid homage to Humayun Bhatt. Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha had also arrived at the police headquarters to pay tribute to the martyred DSP. Bureau Report, India Today.
Days after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's visit to India to be a part of the G20 summit, and of course that pull aside with Prime Minister Modi, news coming in that trade ties have taken a hit. The free trade agreement talks that are underway between India and Canada have been stalled for the moment. Reportedly, it's been put on hold and will resume once issues are resolved. That's been mentioned clearly at this point, but we don't know what are the issues or what's led right now to the talks being stalled in this manner. Let me take this across to our Foreign Affairs Editor, Geeta Mohan, for more details. Geeta, of course, the entire world was talking about these pictures on our screens of the Prime Minister's meet with his Canadian counterpart and how it seemingly seemed like things weren't well between the two leaders. Now we're hearing that trade ties between India and Canada could also be hit.
Well, that's right. But what we're given to understand, Akshita, is that it was the Canadian side that had initiated halting of the talks for the moment. And yes, souring of ties is one of the reasons why we are seeing the halt in the free trade agreement conversations between India and Canada. Also, what we're given to understand is that the initiation of the halt, the conversations that began, had begun before the G20 summit itself. So there were concerns. The ties have been at their lowest. The concerns for the Indian side have to do with the Khalistani elements being given the kind of space and play they do get in Canada. And therefore, at this point in time, at this juncture, it doesn't seem like bilateral relations beyond the concern is moving forward. And that's why a halt in the talks for a free trade agreement between Canada and India. And this is certainly should be a wake-up call for the Canadian authorities, as it should be for those elements who think they are working for certain constituency interests. It certainly is not helping India-Canada ties.
All right. Thanks very much, Geeta, for joining us with all of those details. And let's focus on what's happening in domestic politics here in India. The showdown continues over Sanatan Dharma. The BJP continues to keep its focus on this issue in the run-up to elections in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. They've used the statement by DMK's Udayanidhi Stalin to lash out at the India Alliance, or the India Alliance as the BJP now calls it.
Days after the comment by Udayanidhi Stalin sparked a political firestorm, the Sanatan showdown is only getting bigger every day.
अब इंडी गठबंधन ने तय किया है कि वो भारत की सनातन संस्कृति को समाप्त करके रहेगा। ये भारत की हजारों साल से चली आ रही संस्कृति को मिटाना चाहते हैं। ये भारत को मिटाना चाहते हैं।
In a blistering attack on the opposition India alliance, Prime Minister Narendra Modi claimed that the India bloc wants to erase Sanatan Dharma. With the Prime Minister tearing into the India alliance over the DMK leader's comments on Sanatan Dharma, other BJP heavyweights have joined the debate, firing back-to-back salvos at the opposition. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan asserted that the opposition bloc's only agenda is to eradicate Sanatan Dharma. The BJP is questioning the silence of the Congress on the issue.
राहुल जी से मैं सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं, ये तुम्हारा इंडी गठबंधन सनातन पे हमले कर रहा है, सनातन को खत्म करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, आपका इस पे क्या कहना है? क्या आप सनातन के विरोधी हो? क्या आप सनातन को समाप्त करोगे? शर्म आनी चाहिए इस गठबंधन को और मैडम सोनिया गांधी को भी। आज तक चुप बैठे हैं।
ये जो राहुल गांधी जी बड़ा बड़ा प्रचार करते हैं दुनिया भर में जाके भारत के संविधान को बचाने की और लोकतंत्र को बचाने की, इनके मुंह में दही जम गया है। ये चुप्पी बहुत कुछ कहती है कि नफरत की दुकान खोलने का लाइसेंस राहुल गांधी जी ने दिया है।
The DMK remains defiant. Just 2 days back, Minister Udayanidhi Stalin rejected demands for apology.
மணிப்பூர் இஷ்யூ பற்றி பேசுங்க, சனாதனம் பற்றி அப்புறமா பேசுவோம். நான் இங்கே தான் இருக்க போகிறேன். தொடர்ந்து 200 வருஷமாக பேசிகிட்டு இருக்கோம். அதை மட்டுமே இப்போ பேசாதீங்க. கண்டிப்பாக அதை பற்றி பேசிதான் ஆகணும். பற்றி பேசுவோம். அதை விட ரொம்ப ரொம்ப முக்கியம் வந்து இப்போ இருக்கக்கூடிய இந்த பாசிச பாஜக அரசை வந்து நம்ம வந்து வைக்கணும். அதை கான்சென்ட்ரேட் பண்ணணும்.
A Madras High Court lawyer has moved the Supreme Court seeking a directive restraining DMK leaders from making hate speech. The petitioner has demanded an investigation into the meet that debated eradication of Sanatan, where Udayanidhi made the comment. With elections in 3 Hindi heartland states later this year, DMK's attacks on Sanatan Dharm have put the Congress in a spot. Bureau Report, India Today.
India versus Sri Lanka final that could happen on Sunday, but today at this point India versus Bangladesh, the game is underway, and Bangladesh batting first is putting up a score of 250 plus. We're just waiting in fact for the mid-innings break right now, which could happen any moment now. India's already made it through to the finals, so you can expect an India versus Sri Lanka potboiler coming your way on Sunday, but this match still extremely crucial. We're going to be putting out details for you in just a bit from now on exactly how much Bangladesh has managed to score right now, but we can tell you that they have managed to put up a decent score of 250 plus right now, and India will have to chase down that total to ensure that they have another win in their bag as they make their way to the finals on Sunday. It's going to be a massive match to win, obviously, on Sunday between India and Sri Lanka. But let's in fact put out for you the latest at this point. All right, with in fact the Bangladesh's innings coming to an end, they've set a target of 266 for India. That is the score to beat. 265 is how much they've scored, so they need to score 266 to win this match. Can the men in blue do it or not remains a question. Remember that they've already sailed to the finals, so this match essentially is for them to ensure that they better their record. And there you have it on your screens. Bangladesh scoring 265 runs in 50 overs. One of the few games so far in the Asia Cup that hasn't been interrupted by rain. Let's take this across to our consulting sports editor Nikhil Nas, who's joining us live from Colombo with more on the game. Nikhil, what is it looking like? Bangladesh scoring 265. Is that a good total? Is it something India can chase down in this pitch?
Well, Akshita, it is a good total to answer your question, because we've seen some low-scoring games in this particular stadium. In fact, you saw a 250-odd run game that happened yesterday. It was a classic. It went right down to the wire between Pakistan and Sri Lanka. However, that was a shortened game of 42 overs. With 50 overs, with the Indian batting that you've got, you'd expect India to chase this down. However, it's not going to be a cakewalk, simply because India has made a few changes as well to their batting order. They made all of 5 changes in this match, and a lot of those changes have come in the batting. Someone like Virat Kohli is not part of the 11 today, and you know how good he's been in terms of his form in this particular tournament. So it's a tricky total, I'd say. It's at par, not below par, and not really above par. But I'd say it's a tricky total. If you start very well, not lose too many wickets up front in the power play, then I think India should get it. However, there are a few other question marks over India's bowling today, especially in terms of the fielders really not supporting the bowlers. Lots of drop catches, lots of misfielding, and that kind of helped Bangladesh then reach this total. At one stage, though, Bangladesh, when they had that partnership between Hidroy and Shakib-ul-Hasan, Shakib in fact was looking good for 100, but that one wicket that Shardul got off Shakib when he was on 80, I think that's really pushed them back to 260. Otherwise, at one stage 280, 290 could have been on the scoreboard, which would have been even tougher for India to chase them.
Nikhil, you made a mention of the number of changes in the Indian team. 5 changes in all, including Virat Kohli being rested. Those pictures of Virat running up and down the field, goofing around essentially as the water boy, are also going viral. But what's the reason? What perhaps is the thinking behind resting Virat in this match?
Well, Akshita, I think it's primarily done to give a few youngsters a chance. Now, this is probably the only game India has had in this tournament which is inconsequential, because India has already made it to the final. All other games that you played throughout this tournament were must-win games, because the format of the tournament was such that you had to win all those games to ensure that you get a finals berth. I think when the first opportunity came by where you could rest a few senior players and try a few youngsters. Remember, India has travelled with a few youngsters in this tour who are maybe the ones that they will be looking at in the future, the ones that could then take over the mantle from someone like a Rohit Sharma or even a Virat Kohli. So I think this was a good opportunity to test them at that international level. Tilak Verma is one such youngster. He made his name in the IPL and then got his ODI debut cap today. Also one of those rare things we saw in Indian cricket where a proper batsman like Tilak was also bowling. We've now, we seldom see some part-time bowlers now bowling for India. So maybe a few things. Surya Kumar Yadav as well is someone that you wanted to give him a run. So with that in mind, I think they decided to make those many changes.
All right, so let's see how it plays out. It's a dead rubber, yes, but India giving it their all. 265 is the number to beat. So India needs 266 in 50 overs to ensure that they win this one against Bangladesh. Thanks very much, Nikhil, for all of those updates. And that's it from me. I'm wrapping up this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Thanks very much for tuning in. Have a good evening and a good weekend.